Hey y'all, it's Paula with Hillbilly Orchids. Welcome back to my channel. I last night I did a short on YouTube with my Miltoniopsis Phalaenopsis, and I had a viewer request, Anna Vogia. She asked me, she's like, I'm getting one of these. Can you do spotlight on it and any care tips? I kind of told her, in the comments, my situation with this plant. Obviously you can see, it's in a, excuse me, it's in a, 4.5 inch pot. It's a big plant. The plant has grown great for me. Now, when I first got the plant, I got it from Equigenera. Of course, anybody knows, when you get plants from them, you only get like a small, you get like just a small clump. So, all this has grown since I got this plant. I believe I've had it for about 3 years now, maybe 4. I don't know. I think it probably ate the tag, so it would probably be good luck in finding the tag. No, actually, there it is. And no, the date is gone on it, and I can't even exactly make it out. But it's Miltoniopsis Phalaenopsis John Leathers. But like I said, this, normally, from Equigenera, you get like a small section about like this. So this plant has grown from that, and I keep it in my kitchen with my my other cooler growers, because in the grow room it's just too much for it. This plant can't take hot grow room temperatures. This plant needs below 70s most of the time, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it can handle a few days at 73 to 75, but my kitchen usually stays about 68, sometimes lower. I've put the fan in the window and kind of brought it down to like 66 for some of my ones in the kitchen. But they don't like it hot. And a tip that I have found with these guys is get a ceramic mask to put over the pot, because this stays cool even if a fan's hitting it, and that helps keep the roots cool, which is beneficial for the plant. So that's something else. Like I've had them in plastic covers, masks, and they don't do as well. So I've switched all my Miltoniopsis to these ceramic masks. It helps tremendously. Now, I was thinking I'm going to up pot this plant, not now. I'm going to be up potting to probably a 6-inch pot from my sponsor, Orchid Supply Store, probably this spring. I'm going to be using one of those good pots that they have. Only thing is, I'm going to have to find a mask, a ceramic mask big enough to fit this now. But I'm not going to do it now because it is blooming. But definitely going into one of these pots this spring. And I'll probably be taking a couple of small divisions off of this plant, because I have promised a couple people. This plant is healthy, and it is, it does great. It blooms regularly for me. This spike is a little droopy, but it does bloom regularly for me. It's not, when I first got it, I thought, my mindset, Miltoniopsis like to stay moist, which I'm kind of finding is relatively a myth. Like, mine don't, so, but that's for a whole nother, that's just a Miltoniopsis thing. This guy, when I kept it moist, it rotted the new growth. Now you can see how the new growths come out, which this plant just got watered, so you can see that's why it's wet. This plant just got watered, so it's, yeah, it's moist all over. But you see how the, you can see right there how they come out. Well, when I was keeping this plant moist, they would come out and they would rot. They get too moist at the base and they rotted. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to keep this plant drier. So I started keeping it drier, and sure enough, not a problem. They grew out good and fine for the longest time. Well, then I did start getting accordion leaves here as of lately. And I'm not sure why. I'm probably because it needs to be up potted, obviously. The roots have just taken over this pot. It's grown very, very extremely well for me. I mean, that is no lie. This plant has just, I mean, exceeded my expectations, honestly. But the accordion leaves is something that I am going to have to address. So my plan is like I said, I'm going to up pot it into one of the Orchid supply store 6-inch pots, and I'm going to go with husk, of course. That's the kind of go-to. You can, I'm probably not gonna, this media is not bad that it's in. It's still good. It's just plain orchiata bark though. So probably what I'll do is I'll probably pop her out of this pot. I will just directly up pot her into 6-inch pot and just fill in with husk and charcoal mix. That way, the husk gives you the opportunity to keep this plant hydrated without keeping it too moist. See, I was thinking that, I was probably keeping it too moist as to why the new growths were dying and rotting and dying. So I'm thinking with the husk is like a win-win. It'll be keeping the moisture with the plant, but not keeping it so moist that it will rot the new growth. But it should then in turn get rid of the accordion leaves. But this little plant is such a gem. It really is. It's such a beautiful little bloom. So cute. I just adore this little plant. Like I said, and it's grown, obviously you can tell it's grown super great for me. The blooms aren't very big. They're not fragrant. That's another kind of little downfall of it. I've never ever had a fragrance on this thing. But right now, she did have 4 spikes, or she did have 5 spikes, but one already went over. But it stays in spike for a while too. It doesn't, it's not ones that come in and go out really, really quick. So it's around for quite a while. But like I said, it's definitely in my kitchen where it stays a lot cooler. And it's probably time to get it back in there because they don't like the heat very well. They really don't. They do best, like I said, you're doing good if you can keep this thing highest at 70, lowest at, I don't know, probably, like, I don't let it go very low. Like I said, 66 is about as low as I let it go, but that's in my home, So, and it don't stay 66 too long in my kitchen, that's for sure. But like I said, the high is another story. This plant has, it has gotten through some 80-degree days. But usually, I'll kick on the air conditioning. That's why they're in my kitchen. So I'll kick on my air conditioning in the bedroom, and it will, overflow into the kitchen and keep it cool. So it usually cools it back down to every bit between 70 73. So, but it handles that pretty well. But basically, really, this plant is no fuss, no muss. When I was keeping it drier, it really was no fuss, no muss. I just watered it once a week week fertilizer, once a week. I soak it in these pots. That's why everybody has their own individual mask like that, because I put water on them and I soak them for 2 hours, and then I take them out and drain them. So, but basically that's it. The fertilizer is my regular fertilizing regime that I use. I never go over 200 parts per million of the Jack's 2-part system, and this plant has responded well to it and has done great. So, if there's any questions, anybody has any questions or anything like that, I hope, I hope I answered everything you needed to know. I appreciate you asking. So I'm glad to help and glad to put out a video to help you. So, if anybody has any questions or anything, please, leave them in the comments. And I appreciate you stopping by and spending time with me. And that's all for now. Bye for now. Till we meet again, y'all.